I know you look at me and you think, this guy's got it all together. But it's been tough the past couple days. But all I gotta do is come to town and see everybody, especially around lunchtime, always in a hurry to rush this and rush that. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. Well, why are you in a hurry? I don't want to lose my job. Well, I got a guy on YouTube now saying my complete lack of education and what did he say? He said I was commenting on a video. It wasn't even nothing I said. And then the comment was about banks and banking. And he said the banks have got processes and all this shit. This is why people lose their houses. And I was saying in the comment that it's a belief that we're as helpless as we are. It's a belief that when you get a letter in the mail in big red letters from the bank saying that they're going to come and get your house, or like my son got one from a rent-a-center place. The rent-a-center place, he paid on a computer. There was like 3 payments left. Then he got another computer and some headphones. And the thing is he was getting it for his sister and brother. So it was cool. But I don't like those places because they're ridiculous charges. Like, for one, the computer that he had bought, he probably paid for 3 times before. But because, and hear me out, he was late all the time on the payments. All the time. So it's not that we're bitching about the price. This is the problem. The problem was, even though he was late all those times, there was 3 payments left, and then I went to take it up there. I went to take the money up there, and it was late, like it usually was. And they said, "Oh, we can't accept this." And I said, "Why can't you?" He said, "Because we have like rules against accepting late payments." And I said, "But you've accepted them this whole time. You accepted them all the way up until we almost pay it off. And then you take that thing and resell it. And it's done paid for itself 3 times. So I know that somewhere along the line, Jake signed the contract that said this. I understand that. And if he goes along with everything like they want and gives it back and everything, then that's fine. But the audacity of someone to judge me because I find a way for him not to lose his things and his money blows my goddamn mind. Same thing with the house. When I tell you that there are ways to get out of your mortgage payments and not, hear me out. God, the universe, and my personal beliefs is not going to let you get houses and sell them to become a millionaire cheating. Or it isn't really cheating, but playing these processes. These rules were set up so everybody could have their own land, and it was private. Okay? These rules that were set up, the whole country was made based on this. The whole country was made based on they wanted to be able to own their own land, to be a king of their own land. To be, as some people say, sovereign. I don't like the word because it's like conspiracy theorist. If you think of conspiracy theories, we all have like a tinfoil hat crazy guy in our head. Just like if you think of a slave, most people think of black people in chains. And I believe that those things are like programs. It's just like saying red is red. This is red, but what makes it not blue? Right? We all agree that it's red. History that we're told is told one-sided. It's told by this gigantic corporation, right? That's trying to sell you shit. Man, I hate that. This is why I always mess with my beard, because it splits and it drives me crazy. So I'm just calling it out. So maybe I won't be so embarrassed by it. Anyways, this big old corporation has just pulled the wool over all eyes. It's several probably, or just maybe some banks. I don't fucking know. Some people say it's families, ancient families, and some people say this or that. See, you get caught up in that shit, and that's why those are the things that get us fucked off, or us being people that think differently, or AKA conspiracy theorists. I've been called that a time or two. The funny thing about those are, it's like, oh, in 2015, I was talking about, because I'd heard from someone about the COVID thing coming, and oh, when it came, and all you motherfuckers were so quick to go get your shots, and now we're seeing that probably wasn't a great idea either. Or this, like I think a year or two ago, I had a friend that I was talking to on the internet started talking. He said the next thing's an alien invasion. You watch, and I'd be goddamn if the government didn't start coming out with the fucking alien shit now. Now they've denied them for 60, 70 years. They've denied them, and now all of a sudden, oh, they're gonna tell us. Come on, guys. Come on. I'm tired of playing this where we all agree on shit just because everybody's scared that somebody's going to think something different of them. At some point, some banker, some lawyer, somebody in the community is going to have to fucking stand up, because people don't believe people like me, because I've had a checkered past, or had a different raising, or lack of education, as this one man said. Well, hopefully that man will find my page, because what I want to say to you is this: the education I have, it just wasn't your education. It doesn't make me right or wrong. It doesn't make you right or wrong. But your assumption is I'm just listening to people and regurgitating it. I ride around with their books. This is the fundamentals of American law. I ride around in my car with it. I ride around in my car with banking books and just whatever I'm trying to understand. Because when I get bored, I would rather read than to get on YouTube and criticize a bunch of people for being different, or play games, or whatever people do. So their books tell you it's a little bit harder to read. Like in here, you're gonna find this common law term, and I'd heard it before. I've heard of things like common law marriages and things. And oh, hold up. This is a pretty new book. It's not terribly new, but does it say common law rules and principles in a modern developed form still govern important areas of litigation between private parties? I made a comment about I made a comment to this gentleman about the world being more like the Matrix. Analogies are going to really click with people when they understand what money is. Now, this man was saying that there's a whole structure of things, processes that the bank uses to repo your house. Like they do, and they got to cover their butts. They mess up a lot, and when they mess up, if you catch them, you can a lot of times, you'll have some ground. But that being said, if you're gonna throw stones, you got to make sure, you know what I'm saying, you got to make sure your P's and Q's are right too. Like I can't go out there and tell somebody that Take One or whoever process works if I ain't done it. I'll tell you that it looks like it makes sense. Or I can't tell you that I can't go around and bitch about your yard being messy if my yard's messy. You know what I mean? For those people that caught my first video. So, I may be out of my mind and I may be out of this world. I could be so wrong, and I can accept that. I can accept that I'm wrong. I don't like labels and boxes that I get put in. I'm a little sensitive to it because at least I'm trying. At least I'm trying to do something different than just go to work and shut my fucking mouth. Because that's what they want a good little robot to do, is go to work. Don't say nothing. Don't cause no problems. Just go and get what we give you. There are people that play this game well. There are people that believed it and they went and got decent jobs and now they got houses. They don't want to hear this, okay? This isn't going to be easy for people to hear. You got to, at some point in your life, have been screwed by government. We shouldn't say government. They're just a different corp. Do you understand? Government was supposed to be a temporary thing. This government, the real government, is there to solve problems. It isn't there to create them. Our government creates problems, and we all know this. We all know they create problems. We all know it's about money. They've said that about my whole life. It's all about money. It's all about money. And never even understood how much that's right. You think the court system's there to make the world better? The court system's there to make money. And when I say make money, I don't mean it's there to take this from me. It does do that. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, it is there to make it. Do you understand? Here is, what is this? It's a ridiculous lending thing. It's like very high percentages or whatever. They don't make their money. Banks and loans and governments, everybody doesn't make their money by loaning you money and getting the interest. They don't even make their money a lot of times by selling the properties. Do you understand? They make the shit out of debt. So basically, I can take a blank piece of paper. I can take a blank piece of paper and say, I owe Pete $1,000. Now, there was a time that you could have took this. Now, of course, it's got to have real names, and it's got to have, you got to have certain things on it, right? Just like a contract's got to have certain elements. It's got to have consideration. It's got to have, you take this paper back in the day, and I could go and buy goods with it, or I could buy property, and then that person would say, okay, now you don't owe Pete, you owe me because I bought the debt. Do you understand? When you get a mortgage, you have a debt that you owe the place. Well, they'll take that and sell it to another mortgage company a lot of times, and you don't even know. They'll take it and sell it for like half price. Or, if your credit's bad and you ain't paid stuff back, they don't care, because see, the debt is the money. The debt is the money. It's not the value. This isn't valuable. The things this gets me are valuable. The things I do to get this are valuable. But this itself isn't valuable. And we've changed our way of looking it was really very, very slickly done. It's very slickly done. It was one of those things that got signed on Christmas in the middle of fucking nowhere, probably. Nobody knew about it. Nobody realized the government changed. Nobody realized the democracy come in and took over. This. You see how the name's a little different there? You see how the lowercase name? Let me see. I don't carry an ID no more. I'd show you. Look at your IDs. Look at your IDs, and they'll all be proper nouns. And I didn't go to school, as we were saying. I did go to school. I didn't get a lot of education, as we were saying, typical education. So maybe some of you can help me. But I think a proper noun is just like Walmart or anything that's capitalized can't be a person because it's a corporation or it's a corporate. Maybe we shouldn't use corporation. Maybe we should use, it's just a business. It's a business name. Okay. What happened was they started a business for you to be able to operate inside this system. So they had to start everybody a business name. They didn't explain that to people. They didn't even try. And there was a reason. Because the original law afforded you these remedies and this ability to not have your things taken by the government, to not have your land repossessed, and to not, back where they came from, they had to have like titles of nobility. They had to, like, that to own land, you had to be okayed to own the land. And it wasn't yours, it was theirs. But they had to give you permission, okay? Like a title. Right? So when our forefathers come over here, they didn't like that shit, okay? And who would agree to this? Now, if everybody's like getting together and you say, hey, we're all gonna live like this, let's agree to this, that's the way. That's the American way. But everybody's agreed to this, but they don't even know what this is. And that's what I want to convey to people. Don't take my word for it. Just go look with an open mind. There are very complicated processes and procedures and things that you could do, or you could just know that all this stuff that we call law is not law. It is just statutes, it's rules that Walmart's got to follow, so to speak. So if you're in the army, man, you might not be able to get in your uniform and like do porn or something. I don't know. Like there's things that you can't do because you agreed to be in this thing. Okay. It would be like joining that club and then that club starting to make rules and stuff you don't agree with. They start taking your things when you're behind. It starts being a lot like England was, or Great Britain and those countries there. It's a lot like them. You got to have license to practice law. You got to have license to drive a car. You got to have license of blah, 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 fucking blah. The problem I have with it is when we're driving these cars around with the tags on them, this is in the business world, okay? Even if you're going to visit your mom or whatever, and then they can pull you over and get you for seat belts, ask for your insurance and all this bullshit. That is business law. And it governs everything now because we are too lazy to learn the difference. Now, the people that are really, really, really wealthy, they know the difference. They've been trying to tell us. Your people, even your people you look up to, your musicians and actors. If you look, they've been trying to tell us. A lot of us have been trying to tell us. Obviously, they can't sit down and talk like I'm talking because these people run shit. And their fear, I heard something the other day, 3 people. People that are doers, people that are They're not doers, but they see it. They don't do nothing. And then there are people that ask what the fuck happened. And I used to think that there was just a bunch of what the fuck happens around here. But I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think that people refuse to listen. A lot of times, even like family members and friends, when they can't hear me, they refuse. They choose not to really consider what I'm saying so they can be comfortable in this thing. When you know the truth, when you really know, you don't get comfort from the same things. It's a peace like you wouldn't believe, but it's lonely. It's very lonely. It's hard. It's worth it, but it's gonna run some people away. I've seen guys talk this stuff, and I've heard them say things like, "Man, my wife, they don't know. They just don't know. They don't. It hasn't clicked yet." And I thought, not mine, not my family. And that was arrogant of me to think that I could say something in a couple years' time that actually made sense. But everybody's running their worries and their fears and their dreams, and the thing is, guys, is we've been brought up to think things like if you grind hard enough, you'll get what you want. And I think those are like good programs for robots, right? It's like, dog, keep your head up, keep going, you're fine, you work, you're a good man, you work. What if that man felt something in his heart and he felt like he should speak on it, but he'd lose his job for speaking on it? Is he a good man still? Is that the way you want your kids raised? Do you want your kids raised to keep their heads down or to stand up for what they believe in and what they think's right? I almost stopped. I almost gave in. I actually had made the decision just to say fuck it and go get a factory job. And that's my fault for having expectations. I felt like that if people could hear the truth, that it would click like it did for me. And I guess that's unfair. I don't have a lot to lose. I have my beautiful family, and that is a lot, don't get me wrong, but I don't have like land and homes, trucks and all this stuff because, I didn't play the game good. I'm fixing to play the fuck out of this bitch. I feel like I need help. Maybe that's my biggest problem, is thinking I need help. It doesn't have to be like this. It's not that the system's bad or the people are bad. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if you want to make a choice, you got to really understand things, and you can't make a choice when you're just reacting. I said something to a man, he says, I don't really like to hear this stuff. I just like to go home and go to work. And I said, well, I get that. I've said that. And I was riding home, I laughed. I had a laugh. I was thinking about it. I had a laugh, and I was thinking, damn, that's exactly what I would want my slave to think, or that's exactly what I would want my robots to think. We have been taught that the slavery was this brutal thing, and where they had people in chains and whips. And I don't know if those things are true or not. I don't have an opinion really on them, other than it's wrong. But it's also wrong to manipulate people into slavery, in my opinion. To make a choice, to really be free and to be able to choose, sometimes you have to choose hard things. If you're going through choosing the easiest path every time, that's not a choice. Don't you understand? That's the system it has grooves. It's like, I'm a very visual thinker, so let me write this down. So like what it is basically is like, everybody's running their paths. Okay, and after so long, all the bystanders on the side, they see this path. And when somebody comes down and they go here, it's like everybody assumes this is wrong. It's not that it's wrong. It's not that it's dumb or anything. It's just that everyone's been programmed to do it this way. Do you understand? That is a product of a system. You know, that is a cycle of a system that's made to steal energy. Because that's all anything is energy. It's made to steal your energy and my attention. Okay? And the fucking crazy thing about the way this system's built in is anytime somebody comes and says, hey man, you don't gotta do that. You don't gotta do that. You can do this. Or you can completely leave the fucking page, come back with you can completely leave the page and you can come back and do if I could have found a different color pen, that would have been cool. Anyways, you can completely leave the page, come back and make stars and it's like, it isn't the money we need, it's the value, or it's the product, or it's the energy behind it. And I put a lot of energy in things. I thought to myself, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna work for a lot of money. I do a lot of cool things. My wife does. I could charge a lot. I'm gonna work pretty cheap, and I'm gonna see what God brings me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put the energy in. I hope Justin watches this. I don't like keeping score. I don't at all like keeping score, but sometimes people will keep score on you, and when they bring it to your attention, it's like, it just infuriates me because you don't hear the things. You don't know the hours that were spent, because I don't come to you and say, I don't come to you or anybody and say, well, I done this, so you should do this. I don't do favors, so you're going to do me favors later. You know what I'm saying? I do what that voice, that truth inside me says in that moment. If that voice says something that's hateful, I know that that's not the one, right? If it says something that's silly, it's not the one. But if it says, you know, the right thing to do is this, I do it. I do it in that moment. And a lot of times, I do things like bought some cheap receptacles. I put them in a house. Had 3 fail. Never in my life have I seen that. But Justin called me and he said, hey man, they had some problems. Or he sent me a text, frustrated. I could see why. I mean, he's trying to get this stuff as his business or whatever. And I go there and I find the problems. And because the receipts fell, I went and pulled everything I'd done out and checked it. Because I was scared that maybe, I don't know, this family would burn up. And the whole time, he's pissed because I'm taking a long time. And never did it occur to me that the right thing to do would have been a rush so he looks good, or he feels like he's saving money or whatever. I didn't even charge you. And I should have, because it wasn't my fault they failed. If it would have been my fault, I wouldn't charge. But it wasn't. I didn't charge you. I charge you gas. It's an hour away. I'm driving a beat up fucking Lincoln. Working for these guys that don't give a fuck. They don't care. You know, the criticisms at first was, I don't like your work because it's not good or whatever. And then it got to being, which doesn't matter why we were having the miscommunication, because when certain parties were gone and we were left to our things got done right and they looked good. The fucking criticisms that ended up being at the end of our work relationship were, your wife's doing them too good or doing too much. This man got upset with me because I pulled, because a door was put in wrong. It wasn't shutting and it wasn't sealed. So I didn't take the whole door out. I just unscrewed a few screws on the bottom that were moving it, and I put everything back, and I fixed the side. It took like 20 minutes. But because he told me just to throw trim over it, or I don't think he even told me to do that. No, that was a doorknob I was supposed to change. And then I was supposed to pack the gap with a seal thing. I didn't call and say, hey man, this will be faster to do it the right way. I just done it. People blow my fucking mind. They blow my mind. I didn't say nothing. I don't like keeping score. I don't like this. I just, okay, whatever. Those are the kind of things that keep us down, because we allow our expectations to be a reason to fail, basically. Like, he's not at all a bad guy. He's a great guy. He's just afraid. And I get it. I was afraid too. You know, we tried to say it to him that, you know, we were doing the same thing that you're doing, except we were actually doing the work. We understand that you want to save money. You know, I bring materials from my house. I make shit. I do all kinds of things. That's just stuff. It's built in me because it's the right thing to do. But because of a story written, or because I dress the way I do and don't show up when people think I should or whatever, there's a preconceived notion, because people that do that are this. There's these groups. People that do that are this. How many people probably changed into something because other people thought that that's what they were? They started believing it themselves. My path ain't in construction, but I gotta have money to live on until I can find whatever it is that I'm here for. I don't mean to hurt people's feelings. I don't mean to scare you, if that's what it is. I don't mean to cause any problems. I'm just wanting to help and take care of what I'm supposed to take care of. I don't want anything anybody's got. I don't want to take from people. I don't believe you gotta take from people. I believe a creative mind, along with the right help, could probably, it would make the need for these things to go away. You see, I can say this stuff all day, and most people are choosing not to believe me. It's just fine. I get it. It's scary. I hope that somebody can be helped by it, though. I hope that you understand, guys, that whether my truth could ever be your truth or not, that there are remedies, there are ways outside the box, that even if you don't believe anything, on some level, you know that the judgments and the societal shit keeps us in the you got to know that. You got to know that we're made to run single file. I mean, it's history and common knowledge that they started factory system, or they started when factories started up the Industrial Revolution, that they started schools to teach us to get up and get there at a certain time, eat dinner at a certain time, blah, 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 blah. What about what your body feels? What if you're tired? Don't you think you should sleep longer? I do. If I got something to do in the morning, I go to bed earlier, or I try, or I just make do. Our children and everybody we've ever cared about are watching us all the time, and they're learning from us. They're not learning from what we say, they're learning from what we do. So you come in, busted ass, tired after working a hard day, that's a noble thing. That's a noble thing. But you know, taking a chance, being yourself. What would you want your kids to do? That's the noble thing. If you want your kids to just go work and stuff, then that's what you're here for. That's what you're here for. I'm here to help, man. I don't know what it's going to be in, but I'm here to help. I guess this is like a call for I need help. Probably in more ways than one. I know somebody was saying that. I was thinking it too. It's just a voice that comes up in your head because it's programmed in us in a way. Maybe by a parent, maybe by a teacher, or maybe just generally everyone. That's not who I am. Like, I welcome anybody to meet me in person, see if it's saying who I am. Doesn't mean I don't get mad or sad or glad or scared or any of that. I'm just like everybody else. For me, I'm at peace when I'm running this program. I've never been at peace in the other. And, you know, my landlord, who I've also worked for, he would say that I ain't living in his world and that we're not aligned, and that's why the problems are what they are. See, he won't listen to the videos because he already assumes he knows what I'm saying. You know, everybody thinks that I'm trying to teach people how to get shit for free or this or that. No, I think you should pay your bills. I don't think you should agree to pay ridiculous contracts. And I do. I do, because I get stuck and scared, and I got people depending on me. If it was just me, not a fucking chance they would get my money or my time, or especially my worry. But I got people, and you got people. But how are we ever going to stop this cycle if somebody doesn't do anything, or at least give an option? Right now, nobody that's just regular lives, playing the game, going to work, pay your taxes, following all these rules, you're not making a choice. You're not. You think you are. You might say, well, I'm choosing to fucking spend 36 minutes on your video. Yes, but if you're coming into things with a preconceived idea, expectation, or notion, then you're not choosing it. Don't you see? I love all you guys. I just had a lot going on. A friend of mine, great person, passed away recently, and it just sucks that this world is full of fucking shitheads, and that guy had to go. But I promised myself that I wouldn't go back into this sleep mode, robot mode, whatever. I call them trickdom bots, because they're tricked into being afraid, so they're robots. They're reacting all the time instead of, consuming instead of producing. I promised him I wouldn't fall back into that, because whatever it was so hard for him to be here. I don't want nobody else to have to feel that. And it's all taught to us. Every bit of it's taught to us, and I can see it. And if you can't see it, you're not trying to see it. I'll be going to talk to some people today. I'll let people know how it goes. I gotta find somebody. I mean, we got all these empty houses and shit. They're just falling in. I know how to fix houses. I need a home of my own. It doesn't make sense. There's got to be something out there. It can't be all based on your ability to pay bills, because I got value and my wife is the smartest. Oh my God. We got value that's outside of this kind of thing, and I know the right person will see that. I know the right person is going to see it one day, and we'll be able to show more. Until you can do something, nobody believes it's true, right? So I know the right person will see it one day, and I know it's coming. It has to come. Something's coming. Something's changing. Feel it in the air? I really love everybody, and I wish you all peace. And sorry to offend anyone or scare anyone. When it changes, there is no more of that, is all I'm trying to say. Thanks.